Welcome, welcome. Pull up a chair if you guys like. Give me a couple of minutes of your time. Bible prophecy unfolding right before our eyes. Sure, why not? I think I can see it. Let's see if we can do some connecting of some dots here. Let's put two and two together. We have a big war starting up there in Idlib. This war getting underway within probably days of maybe a week, something like that. Serious implications to some Bible prophecies. We understand that we're in end times. Okay, we're in that season. I think events that are happening today throughout the world are nothing more than a microcosm of events that are foretold in Ezekiel 38:39. I think that's our warning signs. That's what I believe is happening in America today. So, Bible prophecy has it very clear that we have a covenant signing that's on its way. Someplace. Israel's going to sign some sort of a covenant, peace treaty, agreement, something, with an Antichrist. That's a very significant Bible prophecy. Daniel 9:27. Something that I'm trying to fit into this prophetic time clock that God has given us. So I'm taking news today, and I'm going to relate it, and I'm going to focus it around this Idlib war. First of all, is Idlib in the Bible? Can I see this war someplace? No, I can't. Can I connect it? I think so. I'm going to give you the information and let you do the work yourself. It should be pretty easy, I think. First of all, in the news, as of last night, if not early this morning, here in America time, a missile attack reported at Damascus military base. Syria denies the reports of an Israel strike after large explosion. So, seen at one of their ammo depots. Okay, what's going on here? I can't help it. Israel said, look, you guys build up ammunition any place, we're going to go ahead and take it out because it's just against our security and we're not going to have it. Benjamin Netanyahu's sticking to his word. I think that if, Syria is trying to claim that it could possibly have been an electrical problem in the building, something like that. Well, if that's the case, wow, talk about good luck for Israel, right? Okay. Israel's still very active in preventing any type of buildup, whether it be Iran, whether it be Syria, whether it be Iraq, which we're going to read about here in a minute. Next, the Syrian foreign minister says chlorine gas containers have been smuggled in. They're smuggling in these containers of Syrian gas, some sort of chlorine gas, by the Western-backed, American-backed White Helmets organization for a false flag chemical attack. Think about that for a second, okay? If we're going to stage an event, do we want to use the real thing? However, the flip side of that is, if they are smuggling it in, America is going to get involved. What happened last time was, as Russia said, where is it? We can't find it. Later on, we were allowed in the area, and either they cleaned it up really well or there wasn't any, leaving a lot of people to doubt they could be smuggling it in now, so it could be easily found at the end of the war. Let's move on to some other news here that I've got. And I think that's a little bit more significant when you play that out. Now, Iraq getting involved. Iran moves missiles to Iraq that can hit Tel Aviv. This is Iran bringing those in. We have satellite photos. We also have satellite photos of them building facilities to make these missiles. Interesting. I think Iraq just got drug into this, didn't they? All right, let's keep on going. Benjamin Netanyahu has said, our enemies know very well what Israel is capable of. They know our policy, and anyone who tries to harm us, we will harm them. Hello, Iraq. You just got yourself into this whole complete picture now. So we've got Iran, Syria, up in Syria, Idlib, Turkey's involvement, which Turkey is kind of easy to understand. A lot of those rebels were backed by Turkey. He feels an obligation. Where that's going to go, I'm not really sure. But I also want you to know that Turkey backs Hamas. Okay. Next, this came out yesterday, as a matter of fact. United States envoys to Syria due in Israel for talks ahead of this final battle for Idlib. State Department says visit is to reassure Jerusalem that Israel's security will be maintained. As CNN reports, DC officials have drawn up a list of chemical weapons targets in Syria, not a lib, in Syria. This war could be broadened. Another reason that chemicals back, America is going to get involved. Let me just quickly say, what we have is we have a war starting up in a lib, and we have Russia helping Syria backed by Iran, to go in and take out the Al-Qaeda types that are left over up in lib. Can this lead to a war someplace in Israel? Okay, let me go on, and then I'm going to bring a few more answers to that, hopefully. Something I just kind of wanted to bring up, and I thought about this the other day, and if we remember, Obama had drawn a red line on chemical use within the. So when chemicals were used, Obama drew a red line and said that was it, but he didn't know what to do. Do you remember that? And he hesitated a little bit. Russia showed up, and they said, we'll get rid of those chemicals for you. Do you remember all that? So Russia said, we'll get in there. They're all gone after a certain amount of time. We give them a time frame. It was all finished, right? Well, what happened? They were found again, weren't they? So he didn't eliminate all of them. So a lot of them saying this whole idea of this is a false flag. Just keep that in mind. Now, let me say one more thing. Do you remember what one of the reasons for us, President Bush, to go to a war in Iraq was all about? Chemical weapons. Throughout the whole complete war, they kept on saying, can't find them, can't find them. The war was all finished. What happened? They found them. Are you sure? What did Russia have to get rid of? Those chemicals. They were found. Okay? It really lends a lot of credence to what's going on with America's word against Russia and the UN, doesn't it? To me, it does. Okay, I'm still just trying to connect dots. That's what I'm trying to do here. Let me move on some other information, because this is important too. The United Nations extends the mandate of UNIFIL in Lebanon. This is broader reaching than Lebanon. Understand that. Now, I'll explain more than a minute. United Nations Security Council, they approved the extension of this because it was supposed to have ended 2 days ago. They made it extended for 1 more year. So, calling on the government to develop a plan to increase its naval capabilities with the goal of decreasing the mission's maritime task force and transitioning activities to the country's armed forces. Let me just go ahead and put this in other words. There's a buffer zone between Lebanon and Israel, right in there, okay? There's a lot of the UN peacekeepers in that area. They also, if you go over to the Mediterranean over there, they have warships there. They're saying, Lebanon, you need to fill this now because we're out of here. Oh, not a war or anything. It's just because we're going out, so you need to fill that area. Here's the important part. Hezbollah has more of a controlling power and a stronger military than Lebanon. The two together make a might. Don't get me wrong. But Hezbollah has basically the upper hand in Lebanon. So what are they saying? Hezbollah, go fill this area and also bring your maritime ships around. Bring them on over. Israel is very concerned over this. Make no doubt about it. Okay, that's the UN. A little bit more just here in a minute on that one. Let's see if I can find it here. What I was going to tell you about, and I seem to have misplaced it here, was that part of that agreement had to do with Syria and Israel. That agreement now, being as that Syria has done what they're doing, is doing what they're doing right now, in the past and now, has basically broken that. In other words, the war between Syria and Israel never came to an end. Remember the Golan Heights part up there? It's never really finished. It was a peace part of that UN peace treaty that they drew the lines of who was allowed to do what, when, and where. Well, those lines have been greatly crossed, not only by Syria, but also by Lebanon, by Hezbollah. And Israel feels that's an okay reason for them. Look, you broke that treaty. We are not finished with this war. There's Israel's inlet into this war. I said, can we connect this Idlib war in Syria to Israel. Okay, here's the main connection. Damascus, Isaiah 17, destroyed in one day. Damascus, Syria, the main power, the infrastructure of the military. If the Bible makes it clear in prophecy, and this is unfulfilled, that this is going to be a future prophecy, and we're to place it someplace in end times, could we possibly fit this in right now? I would say definitely yes. Ross's opinion. So if I'm looking in Scripture and I'm seeing the Idlib war, no. Am I seeing how this can play out? Yes. We have America basically saying, and it's funny because this is how I always agreed that it was going to happen. America is going to be around long enough for Psalms 83 war to happen, and America will have Israel's back. That's exactly how this is playing out to a T. This is going to be, if this is the war that I think, okay, that is going to be up and coming, that's going to start it. This is like the shot that's heard around the world. If this is it, and this war takes off the way I think it's going to, America is going to back Israel. Israel's going to take care of its surrounding enemy problems along with its extended out problems, Iraq, Iran. And then that's going to allow for this Antichrist to show up and bring this covenant, this peace treaty, somehow or another, into effect with many nations. Who are the many nations? Syria, Russia, Iraq, Iran, Turkey. The only other scenario I see here is that Turkey makes some sort of an agreement and allows most of that Al-Qaeda type to move out before a war starts. That's the only other thing. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. I don't know if I've played this out properly. I try to explain it in you know me, I'm simple, so it just comes out in a simple way. But I hope that I've connected this all together and you can see how it could possibly unfold and very much mean something like would be necessary, something like the hapaso, a quick snatching up, a removal of the church out of the way. So wow, I just connected two Bible prophecies together. Is it possible? Just clearing the way for a third unfulfilled prophecy of a covenant signing. You guys play it out in your mind. Just run it through what I've said and see how that works out for you. All right. I really appreciate this time with you folks. Thanks. And I'm going to come back again and I'm going to probably do some more explaining here in a while because I see other things, but they haven't unfolded yet. And I kind of think that they should have by now. I'll come back with that as they do unfold, okay? For right now anyway. Thanks, guys, very much. God bless all of you. I appreciate it. All right, talk to you soon.